In this video, we will introduce Toast. In Android, whenever you need to notify the user that something happened, you can use a class called Toast. A toast is a pop-up notification that usually shows a text and it's placed in the bottom middle of the screen. Let's look at a basic example. Here I have my main.xml in my layout folder. I've added a button component and its attributes. I set the Android ID to button toast, its layout width and height to wrap content, and text to show toast. Now let's take a look at my app activity. Here I've added my button toast as an instance variable of my app activity. In the set content view within the onCreate method, I set up my layout. The call to set content view receives the constant rLayoutMain to indicate which XML file represents the activity's GUI. The constant represents the main.xml file. Method setContentView uses this content to load the corresponding XML document, which is then parsed and converted into the app's GUI. This process is known as inflating the GUI. Here I call my method addListenerOnButton, which, as the name implies, I'm going to add a listener to my button toast button. The first thing I do is that I get a reference to the individual widgets using activity's findViewById method. This method takes an int constant for a specific view, that is a GUI component, and returns a reference to it. The name of each GUI component's content in the r.id class is determined by the GUI component's Android ID attribute in the main.xml file. So now that I have a reference to my button toast component, I'm going to set an onClick listener. So I call the method setOnClickListener, and within it I create an anonymous class onClickListener. And now within the onClick method, I'm going to go ahead and create my toast. And I'm going to call the method makeToast. For the context, I'm going to call the method getApplicationContext. And I'm going to pass a string in saying button is clicked. And I'm going to set the duration to length long. So a toast is a view containing a quick little message for the user. The toast class helps you create and show those. When the view is shown to the user, it appears as a floating view over the application. It will never receive focus. The makeText method makes a standard toast that just contains a text view. The parameters are the context, which is usually the application or activity object, the text to show, which can be formatted text, and finally how long to display the message, either length short or length long. Now let's demonstrate our functionality. I already have the Android emulator up and running. I also have already installed my app on the emulator. If you want to start the emulator and start the app, remember to right click on your project, select Run As Android Application. Here I have the button that we created, Show Toast, and now I'm going to click it. And we see that our message is displayed. Button is clicked. This concludes our discussion of Toast.